Hello, welcome to Line War. Today we have two brothers fighting it out. This is sibling rivalry between John B and BlackFire. John B has started up in the top left corner of the map, and he has gone a lot of factories and then barracks. I think these are barracks, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are barracks. He's trying to expand the map. The advantage of starting in the corner is that you can spread out and focus on a certain area, but it is better to try and start somewhere in the middle. Let's have a look where his brother started. In the other corner of the map. They are starting in the corners, which usually is not quite the way most people would play. Someone would like to grab the middle. Because imagine right now that John B grabbed this area. He'd expand up here and take over this land, and he'd be going this way. And he'd have all of this land to gather while he battles it out with his brother up here. And it would have just been the same thing if his brother started in that corner and John started here, because that's how it just worked. But yeah, according to Discord, these are brothers, and John B is a subscriber of mine, I'm pretty sure, so thank you for that, and I thought as soon as I saw the name, I'd do a video for him. So, currently, his brother is going to the top corner of the map. I think he's just doing a circle round. I'm not sure how experienced his brother is. I assume that he's probably recently started, so he's probably not too experienced on how to play, so I'm not going to try and be too mean to him. He's built power plants, and if he ends up watching this, then power plants are great when you've got units on the ground. So, infantry don't use the energy, and nor do commandos. And if you've got the factory, the only unit from that is the tank that uses the energy. So you don't need these, and they cost the exact same as building one of the energy wells here. But they only produce half the amount of energy. And every other unit, the aircraft and the sea units, all require energy. The only two sort of mechanical units that don't are the artillery and SAM. So what else has John B gone for? Can't tell what that is. It looks like an energy well. It is. I didn't realise there was oil there, but hey, that's a good start. So I wonder if if BlackFire is going to be able to pick up the game quick enough to take out John. I mean, he has got this lake here now. He's got some units coming in there. It's a small lake, so it'll be able to defend him, and it'll have an energy well for him. But if I was in this situation, I'd build one unit here, then destroy this structure, just so I can get this energy well. When you click a structure, I can't do it now, but if you click a structure, there'll be a button down here that says destroy, or self-destruct. He's building an airfield. It's not actually a bad start. Airfields are actually really effective. Helicopters and strikers are really good. John B is having a great time expanding the map. I am probably going to speed this game up a little, because I haven't done that much in the past. I'm probably going to start using that a bit more for the expanding phase of the game. But it does make a weird noise. I don't know if you can hear that. And another thing it affects, when you speed up the game, you start zooming around the map. So the way to avoid that is to either use the scroll or hold the mouse wheel into the mouse and move like that, because that's independent of the time. So these guys, the artillery are going up into the north by the looks of it. Some are coming down. It looks like John B is going to have the most economy of this game. He's got tons of cities and towns being here, and he's now probably going to realise that his brother has started over here, because it's probably the only logical place to start out otherwise. I will slow it down when the action comes up to it again. And John B is doing a lot of factories and barracks. He isn't going for air, and he's not going for sea. His brother is currently trying to figure out the game. He has the longest range bombers, so these bombers are actually going to travel quite far, despite only being here. I think BlackFire is getting a bit nervous. He knows John B's been playing for a bit. I think he's fairly new to the game, but he understands how the game's working, obviously. He doesn't seem to have too much of a problem actually figuring out how to play. He's getting some energy storage. That's always a good thing. And having some power plants isn't really a bad thing, because you don't expect them, especially this early on. But it means you can have power hidden, because these energy wells you can see through the fog of war. So it makes it obvious where you're going to have your power. So power plants being hidden around the map is not actually a bad idea. SAM units shouldn't be on the front. They should probably be in a circle command behind. Generally speaking, I'd only use these black lines for artillery only, because artillery destroy everything from range, and that's what you'd destroy these with. It looks like John B is going to find him fairly soon, because these units are cutting across the map really fast. So let's have a look at their economy then. John B's doing great with his storage. He's got a bit too much stored up. He could probably do something with that money. He's got 1,300 a minute coming in. And BlackFire isn't doing too bad. He's got 760 per minute. But he also has put a strip down to store these things so they can carry on producing units. That is a good idea. It looks like he's confident enough to now leave this area. He's got his units spreading out. I think he likes his units all in one big force, which is slowing him down. If he had sent a couple of units up this way to capture it, and sent some down here, and then some this way, he would have spread out faster and been able to find John B a bit quicker. But I can assume John B is getting close. They're going to see each other very soon. And just before they do, John is ecoing, trying to expand his economy, so he's going to be earning a lot of money. He spotted this army, and it is absolutely void of anti-air, so these bombers are going to do a lot of damage to him. But I think these bombers are actually better at destroying structures than they are at units, and the units are ambushing him through the forest. Not a bad idea, especially when these outrange you. You're going to get closer a lot faster. But he's going to take heavy losses on his side from this. On the ground, at least. Right, I'll slow it down now. So those bombers are still doing a good job defending, and that is probably not even their full range. He's got a lot of money stored up as well, so BlackFire has 3,000 stored up. I think the only way he's going to get out of this is with a nuke maybe later on. But that tank is going down to infantry, because tanks, although are very strong, I find that they don't really hold up on the front lines that much. They're better because they're faster and they'll sneak round the enemies, because if you ran away from these infantry, they just simply wouldn't catch him. And then they'd be able to sneak round somewhere else to get it. So in places like this where there's choke points everywhere, I don't really suggest using tanks. I'd suggest more artillery and air units to support them. Those bombers are coming in to defend. It doesn't look like BlackFire has spotted these units sneaking in through the bottom here. And John B set up a defensive line knowing these units are coming forward. And if I see a defensive line being built, you want to turn this into an A command. So it's like the arrows, the arrow command, so they don't actually capture land. You can always retreat for that later. Probably want to push in before they build these things, or take advantage of their weak state afterwards. It's got tanks versus some naval units now. Those missile ships probably aren't going to last long, but they might destroy one. But I don't think they'll survive too much. And it looks like BlackFire is going straight for the defense. There is a SAM unit there, so that will get targeted first, I believe. The AI does target the units that shoot back first with the air units, I think. Looks like these ones are going for the structures. I think that's what they're made for, so that's what the AI is doing there. But he's got more coming in. He's lost one. About to lose another. There it goes. And he's got interceptors. John B has responded to the bombers and built some airfields for interceptors. And those bombers don't have any anti-air capabilities. They are just going to get shot down by those interceptors. If he had chosen strikers to use, he might not have had the range. But they would have been able to at least do some damage to these interceptors. And John B is bringing his units up around here. I'm not sure if he plans to try and fight this army from behind. He's built some structures here to try and help provide some more force at the front lines. Looks like John B has to deal with some interceptors as well, so BlackFire built interceptors to deal with the interceptors. And this is what I mean, you only want the artillery on these defensive lines, because those artillery has done a lot of damage here. And they just took out a lot of these units pretty much for free. And John B is completely ignoring this. He's using the orange command so he can get his units in faster. The arrow commands, I mean. So he can get his units into here faster. He's noticed that this is vulnerable. He's being hit in a defensive line here. So I think John B's fine to survive that. He might have to deal with it for a while, but it's going to be slow progress no matter what. And these units are just going to plow through BlackFire's base instead. Taking up a new target instead. So from BlackFire's perspective, he does have a force coming in here. He's going to try and deal with it with the air units. And he's just hoping that he can do enough damage here to distract him and hold these guys off while he does so. But it looks like... oh, there is one SAM unit. There is some anti-air there. And I'm pretty sure John B is about to win this one. But I thought it was an interesting match as there were brothers. This is sibling rivalry gameplay. And that's my brother coming on now. Yep. One of them. And he is going to try and hold out with a ton of barracks, I think they are. But I don't think they're going to build in time. The SAM units are going to destroy those air units. Those structures aren't going to build fast enough. And he already has a force there. The defensive line was holding up, but it looks like John B has decided that it would be better to attack there instead. So he's just going to go in. He's curved them both round, so he curves around. Makes that concave that I like seeing. Sorry, BlackFire. But I do like this circle shape attack force. Those units aren't going to last much longer. These units are right in his base now. He's got a city there as well. Feel sorry for the people living there. And it looks like the match has ended. So I'd say John B has won that. That was a good game. And for BlackFire, I'm not sure how many games he's played. So I'm not going to judge him too much. I think he played really well if he was a fairly new player. So well done on that. And hopefully, John B will teach you some tricks and tips. And there are 2 videos on screen right now, so thank you very much for watching. I'll see you there.